Um, yeah. Um, Again, I'm not one to be getting in people's business and be speculating, but um there's always a reason why things happen. I think that a lot of people, especially on the internet, try to push narratives and say, hey, like, all right, this thing is happening. I don't know why. This person just being spiteful, which I mean could be true, but generally, especially in situations like this, I don't think that one side or the other would just do something like keep a child away from another person for no reason, just because I felt like it, right? And with DDG over the months, he was making it seem like Hallie was just a terrible mother who just didn't want her son in the spotlight, right? Just didn't want the son in the spotlight. And again, I'm not saying that this stuff is true, but again, I'm trying to just paint a picture here of I don't think that someone who's the mother who you had a kid with would just keep a child away from you just because I felt like it, just because it was a Tuesday, right? So this just happened, y'all. This just happened. So Halle Bailey has now claimed that DDG abused her, attacked her multiple times, and got a restraining order on him. So before I read this article, just to catch you all up, until today, um DDG had his son on a live stream with Kai Cenat. And that's going to be super visible. Everybody watching Kai Cenat, so it's going to be, a lot of eyes seeing DDG and their son, Halo, on stream on the internet. And DDG said that Hallie didn't like that. She tweeted, I didn't like that. I don't want you putting my son on a live stream. And so that was kind of like the beginning publicly of how this started to unravel, right? How this started to unravel. To my knowledge, she didn't have an issue with DDG posting Halo, period, posting her son, period. But she had an issue, or at least publicly said that she had an issue with DDG putting their son on Kai Cenat's stream. Not necessarily DDG's on stream, but Kai Cenat's stream, because you're gonna have infinitely more eyes on there. And again, we kind of made it seem like, especially with her saying it publicly, it made it seem like she was just being bitter, right? It made it seem like she was just being bitter. And I remember I don't remember saying it publicly, but I did find it kind of weird. I was like, well, why would she have a problem with that? Like, who your baby daddy is, right? Your baby daddy was already popular, before y'all got together, before he started rapping. So he was already on YouTube. He was already on social media. So why would you think that when y'all have a kid that he wouldn't put your son online? Like, of course, he's going to put y'all son online, and you are also a public figure. So I don't know this. I mean, even though you still can keep things private, you kind of gotta know who your spouse is. So I found it weird. I feel like, why are you tripping off of your son being on Kai Cenat's stream? Like, I don't know. I found that weird. I found that weird. So, anyways, some time goes on, and then they say that they broke up. What up, Megas? They say they broke up. And they claimed that it was, an amicable breakup. But this was kind of like the beginning of the end as far as DDG's public image with everybody. Not saying his fans, because his fans still ride for him, but with Hallie's fans too. Hallie's fans were like, no, like DDG did something. They're always going to accuse the black man of cheating, being abusive, which now here are the allegations. So they're going to automatically assume that the man did something, 10 times out of 10, they're going to say that the man did something. It happens almost every time. What a flex a lot. Appreciate you for the 74 months. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that, how the story goes, man. The black man is always wrong, or the man is always wrong. I'm not gonna say the black man, but the man is always wrong when you have such a public facing, for front facing relationship, and then y'all break up. So they broke up. But surprisingly, DDG kept it kept it cool. He said that, multiple times, I still love my baby mama. Like, don't attack her. Like, she doesn't deserve that. I still love her. We're still going to be, we're still going to co-parent. Like, he didn't bash her. So I was like, okay, that's stand up. That's stand up for him. Like, I appreciate that. Like, because, anytime this happens, you were like, oh no, she a B, da da da. He's calling all that her names and stuff. But, he kept it cool for the most part. He kept it cool. So I was like, all right, that's what's up. That's what's up. So a little bit more time goes by, and then DDG just starts kind of crashing out on social media, saying that Hallie won't let me see my son. I try to go over there. She was claiming that he's sick and I can't see him. Da 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 da. So now, we kind of get DDG's fan base to kind of start spinning their own narrative that Hallie is being a bad mom, that she's intentionally keeping DDG away from his son. He can't see his son whenever he wants to. So and now we're here. So those three things happen. Now we're here. Now Hallie, for the most part, has kept it quiet. Like, I think that for the most part, she only said that one public thing about her being upset or feeling like it was weird when DDG put their son on Kais and Nasty, but she really didn't say anything public after that. She really kept it low, to be honest. She kept it low, and she shouldn't even have said that. It kind of was a bad look for her. But anyways, now we're here. So now Halle Bailey has said that she's had enough of DDG abusing her. So now we are claiming abuse. We have some screenshots here of the alleged abuse. Says she filed a police report, and now she wants a court order protection from DDG. The docs filed today. They got filed today. Said that things first got physical in January of this year. January. They broke up in October of 2024. Halle said that DDG came over to pick up their son, and she tried to start a conversation with him about the child visitation schedule. So it sounded like she's trying to, just get everything together. Like, all right, how's the co-parenting situation going to be like? Like, how you going to visit them? Da, da, da. And she said that she was buckling Halo into the car seat, and DDG got agitated and repeatedly said, "Get out my car, B." Halle said that the baby was crying, and then she got nervous about DDG leaving with him in such an agitated state. Then she said that's when they started wrestling. DDG pulled her hair, slammed her face on the steering wheel, and chipped her tooth, which you can see here, chipped tooth. Halle said that she was in pain, crying, and although they stopped the fighting, she was still worried about Halo, so she remained in the car for the car ride over to DDG's house, where she told his family what happened. The family said that they'll take care of the baby, but she still left hysterical and with bruises on her arms to go along with her chipped tooth. And she attached photos of her alleged injuries and her request of the restraining order. So again, said she got some marks on her arms and a chipped tooth. Oh boy. Okay. All right. And so we continue here. Halle said that she interpreted the text as oh, sorry. I got a little bit ahead. She also said that DDG creeped her out in March of this year when he showed up at her home, entered without permission, went to her bedroom, and texted a pic of Halle's empty bed to her along with the text, "Now I know what you've been on. LOL." What up, troll? Sad day, man. Sad day. Then Halle said that she interpreted the text of DDG accusing her of having sex with other people. So that's the other thing. So also DDG has been saying recently that Halle's been messing around with other dudes, which I mean, technically, if y'all broke up, I mean, do I have to say it? I mean, I get it. It's still a fresh breakup. It's May now, but if she was, I mean, let her do what she do, bro. Let her do what she do. Unless DDG is saying that she was doing it while they were together. That's a different story. But if y'all been broke up since October, then let her do what she gonna do, bro. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like, you can't just hold on to this baby mama. So this is exactly why I don't ever want to deal with this, because I couldn't imagine, like, I know that there's technically not a time period that you should, not a time period for when you should stop having feelings for your baby mama. But at the end of the day, bro, if y'all broke up, If the person the next day wants to go out and be with somebody else, they're well within their right. They're well within their right. Now, emotionally, would somebody do that? You kind of got to be like very heartless in order to do that. But technically, you can. Technically, you can. So if she was over there busting over for other people, DDG, welp, it is what it is, my guy. You're DDG. I'm sure you could go do the same. But you're clearly in your feelings. So it is what it is on that, man. You got to keep it pink. So to continue on here, they said 4 days later, after he Legend went into her home and texted a pic on her bed, she claimed that he really exploded when he came back to her house. Hallie told him that she and the baby were sick and she didn't want Halo to leave home. This is what I was saying earlier. This with this whole situation about the baby being sick and she didn't want Halo to leave. She claimed that's when he got verbally abusive, smashed her Ring camera, and ran away with Hallie's phone. As he drove off, she claimed DDG threw the phone out the window and yelled to her, "Go get it, B." The incident prompted Hallie to go file a police report. And she said that she also has the Ring footage, I guess, before he smashed the Ring camera to back up her side of the story. It was also around the time DDG claimed that he'd been fighting to see Halos. That was also the public statement by DDG. And that's when his fans started to really rally behind him. And that's how the whole narrative started about Hallie potentially being a bad mom and just wanted to keep their son away from him. So it gets bad, bro. It gets bad. So these texts, they say that DDG says that Hallie was with Brent Fayez in another country. Said that she was with Brent Fayez. Said brother gonna need Bron Steel to beat this, man. So looking at these texts, and it's funny because you screenshotted tweets from Twitter, like, or X. Like, why I wouldn't be taking what people say on X to be law, but anyway, that's what he did, right? So there's one tweet said pretty much confirmed that Halle Bailey, oh, Halle Berry, so bad. Halle Bailey, Brent Fayez rumors keeping Halo away from DDG while Brent playing stepdad in St. Lucia is nasty work. And so he said this foul bet. He said this foul. It is a picture of Brent Fayez. So they're claiming that both of them were in St. Lucia at the time, and therefore they got together. And so he links another tweet that said DDG can't see his son because Hallie took Halo to go be with Brent Fayez to St. Lucia. Treacherous. This is from academics. Like, oh my God, academics. Again, bro, DDG is crashing out over what he's seeing on social media, bro. This dude lives on social media. He lives on social media. This is, again, why are you just getting upset at the rumors, bro? And so he continues. He said, "You think you hurt my feelings when you're really just ruining your own image. This is a terrible look. Makes you look disgusting and evil." So again, this is him trying to say, hey, like, you can't be with nobody else, and you doing this makes you look bad. Like you out here being in public, which not really in public, but you out here in public, mess with other dudes. You out here in public, mess with other dudes. He in his feelings. Clearly. What up, Flash? He's in his feelings. He continues saying, "Enjoy your vacation. Happy Mother's Day. But just have the same energy when it's my turn to have him. I'm on the same sheet." Okay. To continue on with this article, for Hallie, though, the final straw came just last weekend. So this is fresh. Last weekend, when she said she was vacationing with Halo and her sister in St. Lucia, she said DDG texted her links to social media posts, which we already read, claiming she was on the island with singer Brent Fayez. Hallie replied, "Not with any man out here. I wouldn't do that. I have Halo. Please let me enjoy my Mother's Day in peace." So my man was being disruptive on Mother's Day. Goddamn 47 being disruptive on Mother's Day. Tell he's very upset. He probably upset at what my boy Southside Gun said about his his album. My man's actually responded to him. He actually responded to him, bro. What else? Like, this whole thing is messy, very, very messy. She continued to say, I hope you are okay and feel better soon. So DDG was just wherever he was, just upset, bro. Bro, people saying that text of Photoshop. It could be. It could be. It could be. Like I said, we're taking everything with a grain of salt. I am not saying that any of this is true. I am not saying any of this is 100% factual, because everything could be fabricated, but we're just going off of what we see now. And I believe that if anything else is not true here, the one thing that definitely is true is going to be this restraining order. He say slammed her hand to the steering wheel, hard enough to chip a tooth. She must be a bruise on the face, at least a bruise lip. Well, I'm just acting to see what the lawyers might ask. He's only Brian still true or not. Is everybody gonna get Brian still? What up? What up, Black? I don't know if everybody gonna get Brian still. So to continue on with this article, the judge granted Holly a domestic violence restraining order requiring DDG to stay 100 yards away and gave her permission to take nearly 18-month-old Halo to Italy, where she'll be filming a movie for 2 months. Yeah, my guy is going to be sick, bro. He is going to be sick. Not only did you file a restraining order, but you're taking my son across country to Italy while you're filming a movie. Sad, bro. It's very sad. I don't like these situations at all, man. I don't like these situations at all. I am a huge proponent, especially after having kids. I'm a huge proponent to stay together, but at the same time, if you are being abusive, whether physically, emotionally, if you are being abusive, you do have to own up to that, because I don't see any situation for me. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I feel like putting my hands on somebody. I can, everybody gets upset. Everybody has emotion. But for you just putting your hands on somebody, that's absolutely unacceptable, especially a female. Absolutely unacceptable. So, if that stuff is true, then, hey, he deserves it. Throw him under the jail if you feel like it. But if it's not true, the one thing I don't like is, people, because females can be malicious as well. I don't put any one sex, any one gender over another. That's one thing I don't do. I try to keep it fair. I try to keep it concise. I do not try to pass judgment on anybody. So I know that females can be malicious. As I said before, the whole thing about Hallie being mad at Halo being on Kai's and that stream was a little weird. I'm like, why is she doing that? Like, what is she up to here? But if the true reason for her feeling like that is because he was abusive, then again, now this all makes more sense. Now the context is there. That stuff was private, now it's public. But I still don't like the whole situation. It's like, all right, if you're being abusive towards you, then y'all keep that between y'all. Let that man see his son. I don't like that, bro. Especially you taking him out of the country. Let that man see his son. Get the visitation rights correct. Let him see his son, because one thing he's not going to do, unless he's just truly demented, one thing a black man especially is not going to do is harm their kids. Like I said, you gotta be super demented. I have heard some stories. Obviously, not everybody is going to be a complete saint out here, but I don't see any reason why DDG wouldn't do something like that. Like, for what I've seen, he loves his son a lot, so I don't think he would do anything crazy. So at the very least, let that man see his son. Like that, it's gonna make this man truly crash out, bro. Especially, I just saw a clip of DDG was hanging out with Aiden, and they finding out about this on the internet. Again, like, it isn't something that's like, oh, I texted you or we had a conversation and therefore I'm going to put a restraining order on you. This man finding out about this on the internet, just like us. How would you feel? Especially as a father, how would you feel? That's the stuff I really don't like, bro. Like I said, we already are going to constantly be in this situation as black people where the fathers end up being in these situations where they want to be in their kids' lives and they don't get a fighting chance to. They don't get a fighting chance to. Yeah, I get it. If all this stuff is true, Hallie was super scared, hysterical, but I don't want females to be the end all be all to make that judgment, to be like, oh, because you were doing this to me, then therefore you're going to do this to my kid. I feel scared for our safety. and I'm gonna take the kid away from you. That's the one thing I don't feel right about. I don't feel right about. So, it is what it is. Obviously people are gonna feel another way, which is fine, but it's just my opinion on it. I don't like when the kids end up suffering because of the mom and dad beefing. That's the one thing I can't stand. I don't stand for that. He said celebrity relationship always bonkers. Yeah, it really is, man. He said why they do this now when she could have dropped this much sooner. And that's always the question. And we're gonna get to another why now. We're gonna get to another why now situation. Why do you let this go on for so long and then finally pull the trigger? 9 times out of 10, the answer is because the woman was scared. 9 times out of 10 is because the woman was scared. And I don't know. I don't know. I wish that things were different and more women could have the courage to just speak up immediately or at least tell somebody. But I know it's not that easy. I know it's not that easy. So again, I don't want to discredit anyone who has gone through this. I want to try to be as empathetic as possible. But just me logically, I'm just like, I don't know how much abuse, how much of this stuff, can you go through until enough's enough? Like a lot of people go through this stuff for years, decades, even before they're finally ready to fess up. And I'm just like, it doesn't have to be that long. Like just and again, we sound very insensitive when we say that, but I'm like, just leave, like, just leave, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like when you drag it on for so long, then more people get hurt in this situation. More people end up getting hurt because you don't speak up about it. I don't want the cycle of abuse to just continue on for decades. Like that's the thing that just gets me all the time. Scared I get what spoke. Yeah, I was like, so we'll see what happens with this. I don't know if this is going to go to court because for now this is just a restraining order based off of the alleged abuse that DDG has done to Hallie. But just losing his son for at least 2 months while she goes and films is just wild, bro. And then he can't do anything about it. If he tries to go to Italy or wherever she's at, then he's gonna risk getting locked up. So hold your head, DDG, for the son, for y'all kid. But if you did this for real, then again, you deserve everything, bro. If that's a big if. I'm not saying he did it, but chip tooth here said he did all this. We got to take what we see for now and wait for the rest of the news later. I'm sure DDG at some point will make a statement about what happened is if he didn't already do it. So I hope that he chooses his words wisely, because right now everybody's on his case. Everybody's on his case right now. So oh man, I hope Halo ends up, not suffering from it. Like you said, it's skillful. Like the children always suffer. The children always suffer. So, so that's that news. That's the news on Howling and DDG.